Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the lab. RT here to talk about what I'm buying in the market. And really, I want to frame it for you all. The way that I'm seeing it now is really in relation to the Binance Smart Chain hype. We've seen what happens when a new chain comes along, gets a little traction, becomes the new hot thing. And we're already starting to see a lot of upside in things like Solana. Obviously, you can see here, it's already going on a big run. So it is a tricky thing. I honestly thought I was going to make this video today and talk about buying the dip, and this thing didn't waste any time. It's up 30 or 40% on the day. 20%. It is the Ray token that actually isn't on TradingView just yet that is up quite a bit, and we're going to talk about that today, so stay tuned. Let's start off with Bitcoin, though. Bitcoin did tag the pump chaser zone today, almost this morning, and has really come back up into this short reload zone that we talked about this morning. This is the next key area to pay attention to on this chart. Okay, if you're looking to short the market, if you're looking to call tops, if you're looking to be a bear, that's generally where you're going to do it. So that's where we're going to expect to see some resistance, which is what we've already seen even as we speak right now, getting pushed back down a little bit. So with a little double dip here and a move up, I'd expect to see a retest there. And, you know, I don't think there's any real rush to get out of this zone today. I think a huge shock to the market probably kicks it into some consolidation, maybe even a little reload zone fib pong back and forth for a bit. Or are we just in this big crazy bull and this week some new company comes out and says they just bought Bitcoin? I don't know. Maybe we need to cool off. Less likely right now for me that that's what's coming. Big downside, but it's always possible. So managing risk, you don't want to lose this level. This level was a shakeout. It was a stinger right down into here. If we lost that level, I would change my tune in a big way quite fast. And that's not about rushing to sell right here, but I would have to restructure things, revisit them, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. More importantly, what I want to talk about today is Solana. Okay, Solana is ranked, what is it ranked here? I don't know what the rank is. Point is, it's a 3.4 billion market cap. Ooh, ranked 27. Fast, cheap, right? And that's something we hear about all the time. Really low fees and very fast. And how many different projects have come along since 2017, since the rise of Ethereum, promising to do what Ethereum does, but better. And none really took off and caught this absolute wave of hype that I can think of until Binance Smart Chain came along and did it just this past month. So we already know that it can happen when you start to see traction on some of these networks. Now, Binance has the most users in crypto. It makes sense. They have a lot of money for marketing. But make no mistake about it, guys, that is a centralized chain. Now, I'm not going to just hate blindly on everything centralized. I mean, Amazon was a centralized company, and buying that stock in 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 would have paid off really well. Binance is a company. They can do whatever they want. But if you want to wrap your tokens on Binance Smart Chain, you need their permission. It is not permissionless. Okay? So one of the things we want to think about is, what is Solana doing differently? What are they doing perhaps better? Who are they backed by? Okay, you got some real big players sitting here on the sidelines helping out Solana. I shouldn't even say sidelines, like sitting there front and center, building these guys up. This is my bet, big time, to be the next Binance Smart Chain hype cycle this year. And, you know, who knows if we can call that a hype cycle where it's just going to wear off. Pancake swap, burger, all these different food things. But this is my next bet to sort of follow in the wake of that, if anything. I would say arguably they're already running. You can see our very own Hxro is on here. Bonfida, which I picked up a little bit of this morning. Raydium is the big hype launch that happened just today. You can see it here. I mean, very similar. I set this up. I spent the afternoon setting this up myself. It's very similar to Ethereum in that you come in here, you get your account, you know, you set it up, you can add, you can import your hardware wallet, you write down your seed phrase. Personally, I started by writing down a seed phrase, and then I set up my hardware wallet because I prefer to trade through that. Okay, but once you're set up, you basically have all of these different coins that you can set up a wallet for. You have to have a Solana. Solana is the gas, okay? So don't forget to pick up a little Solana. Start off by depositing it here, and then you can click to create accounts, and you have to approve each of these as a transaction. So it took me a little minute to figure it out. It is in beta. It's not necessarily user-friendly just yet. As a crypto guy, I found it fairly straightforward coming from Ethereum. But now that I'm in, guys, I got to be honest, I'm hooked. I mean, all these transactions, this was like 10 transactions. used like 1.7 Solana, which is like 13 bucks, 15, 17 bucks, whatever it is. It's cheap. It took seconds for each one. And I know, again, we hear that all the time. So there's probably a ton of blockchains that claim that, but I'm not seeing as many with this kind of liquidity. And you come over here, this is actually a DEX, guys. Okay. That's what's pretty special about Raydium, in my opinion. Now I'm going to share this with you in the description. So you guys can check this out, read about it yourself. I just did a deep dive on it today myself. So I'm not going to claim to be an expert. I'm reading about it. I'm learning about it. But the Raydium protocol basically is going to be this big DEX aggregator or automated market maker. It's going to have pooled liquidity across all the different swaps. So instead of like 10 different swaps fighting over liquidity like they do on Ethereum, high fees, all that stuff, basically all going to be pooled here, integrated with Serum. And again, exactly how visually those things all mix together, and is this built on Serum or is it built on Solana? That's stuff that I still need to learn a little more about. We're going to be talking about it a lot on the lab stuff this week. In fact, we got Dan Gunsberg, CEO of Hxro, coming on Wednesday for DeltaFi. DeltaFi? DeltaFi. And we're going to be on with Crypto Messiah and Dan, possibly even Rob Levy again. And this, no doubt, will be a big part of the conversation, so stay tuned for that. Now, the idea of having limit orders, market orders, that kind of stuff on a DEX is pretty fascinating to me. Something I would really like to have. Now, of course, you can have it with 1 inch. You pay a little extra, right? Bottom line is for this, I don't know if you guys go to that site that shows you how much you've paid for fees, but mine is up there. Okay, we're talking 5 figures that I paid in fees last year. It's ridiculous. The cost of doing business on Ethereum is just too high. Borrowing, lending, that's going to eventually get integrated onto this ecosystem, so you could even have margin trading all from your own wallet. Anyway, it's not news for a lot of people, but if this is something you're just learning about, my recommendation to you is to read through this all the way through. Just read the whole thing. Read the light paper, whatever you want. Take a look at it. Now, somebody on Twitter during Sam put out a really good thread today. I can link that in the description as well. And he was talking about it, and somebody's like, yeah, but nobody uses Solana. And that was like the best thing I read all day, because I was sitting here thinking, well, man, I missed it. I'm late. I'm not going to be the early guy. And then this guy's sitting there like, well, no one uses it. And I'm like, well, that's not a reason. It's not a reason to just stay out of something. In fact, that excites me. Okay. When I hear people saying that, I'm like, perfect, because I don't want to be the guy coming in to buy the absolute top on these things. I mean, as you can see here on the Solana chart, it has gone up quite a bit. You know, manage risk, pump, chase your zones, all that stuff. You got to find an entry that you are comfortable with. Investors might say, well, I'm just going to buy here and not look at the price per bit, or I'm going to dollar cost average in. Slick traders might try to pick up this pump chaser zone or follow it up, and then maybe, we go hit the chaos levels and come back down into that and go, who knows? Okay, can't sit here and say, go buy now, it'll definitely go up. But this is one that I'm feeling good about for the long haul and really just excited to use this. Now, the other thing you should know is that you can actually pool liquidity very much like Uniswap. So if you're familiar with Uniswap, this is no different, except for it's just cheaper and faster. And there's a lot of liquidity in there right now. The volume on 24 hours is 2.2 million right now, so not too shabby. And you can add liquidity to this. You get your position reading here, and then right now you can go over to farms, click manage staking, and actually stake those LP tokens directly here on the platform. And the APYs are still pretty juicy. They've been smashed down a little bit today from 4 digits down to 3, down around 500. But that's just free Ray getting dropped off. And if you look at Ray here, you want to keep in mind that Raydium is actually it's going to be a little inflationary at first, right? There's only 11 million circulating out of 555, and that could be an outdated number. So there could be a little more. A lot of this stuff, again, in these documents, you can read about the tokenomics, are going to be, you can see right here, 550 million Ray hard cap, mining reserve, emissions will last for about 36 months with halvings every 6 months, and 0.03% of state trading fees will be awarded to the Ray stakers. So soon you'll be able to stake right here on the site as well. This is a little different. You're staking an LP token. I'm pretty sure direct, just like straight up stake your Ray tokens to collect fees will be a thing coming soon. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I had to do some thinking today, get my math brain going, because if I have just say 1,000 Ray and then the equivalent in USDT, and then I want to participate in these farms well, what if Ray price just keeps shooting up? Because it has been going up really nicely today. And then do I just get diluted and my impermanent loss, right? You can see as this goes up. So I may end up with a whole bunch extra USDT and a whole lot less of the token that I wanted to speculate on. Or the other way around. Price could go down. I end up with a whole bunch more Ray token and a lot less USDT. And so you got to ask yourself, what's that impermanent loss feel like to you? For me, the way I see it, and I could be wrong, but this is how I play this stuff, is that once I close the position, once I pull the liquidity, so I wrote down before I put it in there how much Ray I had, how much USDT I had. And whenever I close this position and pull that liquidity, I don't plan on doing that for a little while. I'm going to just let this farm run. But when I do that, I'm just going to trade one or the other to get back to my initial balance. So if I had 1,000 this and 1,000 of that, and then suddenly I have 1,500 of one and 500 of the other, I'll just take 500 and swap it over. So I'm back to 1,000 and 1,000. And with a little bit of impermanent loss in there, along with the farming rewards, I think I'll do okay. So that's my strategy. That's what I'm doing today. I'm messing around over here on Raydium, playing with Serum, playing with Solana, and I'm getting pretty excited about their entire ecosystem. So that brings me to my final point today. And I would say to anybody who's excited about the idea, like right now, you're seeing everything on Binance chain. It's like, oh, and what do you see? You see projects are all talking about Binance chain, right? We are going to partner with them. We're going to move on there. We're going to be on PancakeSwap. Projects and developers, they all want to be a part of what's hot. And so when somebody says, well, no one's building or no one's using, I just say to myself, just be patient. Because when this thing takes off, when you continue to see this kind of price action, right, the entire ecosystem today, for the most part, running, we might see things like Bonfida, Maps, Hxro, a couple other tokens that are all building on the Solana network. When do those echoes come? When does random project decide, you know what, to generate a little hype, we're going to move off Ethereum. It's way too expensive. Our DeFi protocol is dope, but the fees are too high. Users are getting priced out. We're going to move to Solana. It's coming. I'm very confident that that's coming. So just like we saw with Binance Smart Chain now is the big buzz this last few weeks. Everyone's, a lot of projects talking about pivoting to them, working with them. Oh, we were friends with them first. Just wait, guys, because that hype is coming over here. And I still feel like I'm early. I don't know. I still feel like I'm early. Wherever Ray wants to go, it's going to be a pretty emission-y token. So is it like a food token gets farmed to shit and falls out for a bit? I don't know. But if I'm sitting there in liquidity pool, this will just get sold off. I'll end up with a whole bunch of extra Ray. And eventually, I could sell that for USDT wherever it's going to be and rebalance to my, where I was. Deal with a little impermanent loss. I don't know. Not too worried about it, but I am fired up about everything on this list. Today, the dips I bought this morning, got some Serum, got some FTT, got some Solana, got some FIDA, got some Maps, already had some Hxro, obviously. But there's some really nice looking targets on all these coins. And, FIDA just kind of came into a level. So I would say, honestly, a lot of these you could probably find some little dippies, pump chaser zones over the next few weeks. Stay tuned with us, guys. We're going to be covering this stuff a lot in the coming weeks. And as you can hear my voice, I'm fired up about this. So whatever you do until next time, guys, always play from a position of strength. Take care, everybody.